Hello everybody! Now when we originally tackled rival rankings for the Jurassic series, it was an audio-only pod, but with Jurassic World Rebirth coming out, I thought I would go back, do a little bit of a re-edit, and add in some visuals.
So if you want to go check out some detailed breakdowns of the OG trilogy, then check out the latest Fifth Period podcast episode on Jurassic Park 3, or go check out last year's episode where we break down The Lost World.
Yeah, or you could go all the way back to when dinosaurs ruled the Earth and check out Wits and I chatting about the original film. So hold on to your butts and let's jump into our rival rankings.
Got a long list to reorder, we might agree in ways, 'cause we're gonna rank things, baby, based on our faves.
Alrighty, we are doing the Jurassic Saga. We're doing Jurassic Worlds, we're doing Jurassic Parks. And then that confusing one, the Lost World Jurassic Park.
Are we doing the animated series as well?
We are not doing the animated series as well. And we won't be talking about Rebirth either, but consider yourself spoiler warned for the other 6 films. Let's get going.
We got a matchup
On the first one?
on our sixth place one. Can we do like a countdown and say both at the same time?
Sure.
3, 2, 1.
Jurassic World Dominion.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good. Why don't we like this film, Mr. Brown?
Well, you and I said this morning, we've both only seen this film once, partly because we don't like it. But we've been waiting for ages and ages for them to do a proper film where dinos are out in the real world. We just spoke about it with The Lost World and how they just tacked it on to the end and only did it with one dinosaur. And this film was what they were threatening to do for ages and ages and ages. And we were like, here it is. And then the big bad of this film, locusts.
God, it sucks so much.
It really does.
And the hard thing is like this trilogy, because it starts off quite well, and I'm quite intrigued about some of the things that they set up. And not only in previous films does this become interesting, but the fact that they actually release short films in the lead up as marketing for this. And I'm like, this looks sick.
Yeah, dinosaurs out in the world.
Like, you're setting this really well up. I think it's called like the Battle at Rock or something like that.
Yeah.
Really fun.
Like the surfing one with the creature in the wave.
Sign me up. But the whole film is just so disappointing. And one of the big gripes I have with this film is not only does it waste good performances, I mean, like, I've established that Chris Pratt's not my favorite actor due to like an oversaturation, I think, sometimes of him. But he's really good as Owen Grady, and I like him in this role. Bryce Dallas Howard is really good across these 3 films and is one of the main characters who gets a 3-film arc. Again, that's a problem in the sequels of the Star Wars films, that like a lot of the characters don't get a lot of fleshed out stuff. And then we get a lovely fan service, because not only is Malcolm back, and I'm not talking about 5 seconds that is in Fallen Kingdom, but we get Sam Neill and Laura Dern back, and they're so good in this film. They're like, the chemistry's back, they're having a really good time. Again, like I talked about in Lost World, how Malcolm doesn't work as well without those two. The fact that they're bouncing off each other again is great. It's really, really good. It just sucks that like the plot of the film just sucks.
The plot is awful, and they end up back in a park again. Why? They're out in the real world. You don't need them back in a park.
That's the cool part. You set this up in Fallen Kingdom, that we've gone from park in Jurassic World to house that's in the world. Okay, cool, we're out in the real world now. It's a different film. And we're just like, we're right back at the park again. And when it's trying to tack in like, here's a cool big new dinosaur with a name I could barely pronounce, like Gigantosaurus or whatever.
Who cares?
And then you got the locust, and you've got some new characters that I don't care
T-Rex
about.
saves them again and then stands in front of its own sign. There's too much of this crappy fan service. They don't know what the audience wants. They're like, oh, I know what we'll do. We'll bring back the shaving cream can. Everyone will go nuts for that. Even though it doesn't make any friggin' sense that it's back. Anyway, so we both don't like this one.
Not at all.
But in the lead up to doing this ranking, I watched the second one and the third one.
Yep.
But I haven't seen the 5th and 6th one in a long time. And so I probably will end up rewatching them to see if I do look as harshly on them as I'm going to rank today.
Yeah.
Because in my number 5 position is Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Me too.
Hey, must be the money. So this film has some cool sequences.
Yep.
I like the lava escape from the island.
Yeah, the opening is really cool.
And I like the haunted house kind of setting at the end.
I really like that lava bit when they're inside the facility. You've got Justice Smith and Bryce Dallas Howard, and there's a couple of really good shots of the lava kind of dripping and slowly like illuminating the dino coming down the tunnel.
Yes.
That looks sick. I mean, that was, I think it might have been in the trailer. I was like, oh, that looks good. And then we got more of it in the film. We're like, that's a good shot.
It is a good shot. And so this film has good sequences.
Yeah.
But one thing that I feel always lets down this franchise is this battle between the dinosaurs' well-being and the threat that they pose. And it gets really murky in this one.
Because then when that starts to be like a really central theme of this film.
Yeah.
Like the really sad bit of like the Brachiosaurus just on the pier as they're going away, and it just like gets engulfed by the volcano that's erupted. I'm like, oh, that's quite
super sad.
Yeah, I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
Damn, Jurassic Park Fallen Kingdom.
Yeah. But as a result of that, the characters make some baffling choices, like releasing the dinosaurs out into the world at the end of the film.
And it's like this big, like, holistic sort of like, we're letting them be free.
It's like, what?
But not really, because we're not going to see them.
No, and also
film.
They're going to probably kill a bunch of people, and
it's like, And then we've got like
Clone Girl.
Yeah, that part, that's probably my least favorite part of this film.
Look, we're talking about a franchise where they clone dinosaurs and dinosaurs exist in the world. So in terms of suspending disbelief, I guess it's okay, but I just don't think it works.
Nah.
It just seems a bit silly, and I feel like it's a way for them to be like, look, another relative of Hammond.
Yeah, it just sort of keeps that thread going. It's like, I don't really need that thread
I don't care
together.
about that thread.
Just pull it out. Don't care.
But hey, life finds a way.
Unfortunately. But no, there's parts of this film I really enjoy. Like you talk, the opening is good. When they get to the mansion and stuff, that's cool.
Yeah, I like the auction as well.
Yeah, that's good fun. And this new dinosaur that's like the Indoraptor. You can't have any other villainous dinosaurs outside of basically a T-Rex or a version of the T-Rex and a Velociraptor and another version of Velociraptor. Even though you get like the Carnotaurus or whatever in the start of the film. Like the horned dinosaurs when they're like coming, like they crash the gyrosphere and then like the horned dinosaurs are coming around and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I just wish they'd done,
and
rather than auctioning off the dinosaurs to rich people, I wish they'd gone with the military thread that they had set up in the previous film.
Yeah, the fact that they are like weaponizing these dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a bit all over the place. Again, like sometimes how I feel about like Lost World in a film of good moments as a cohesive piece of cinema, not one of my favorites featuring dinosaurs.
Oh, and I don't like the additional characters.
Justice Smith, who screams a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good actor, but don't enjoy him in this.
Just like token quippy science people.
Yeah,
they just have no substance.
No, and I think that's a good way to sum up this film. Is like it does lack a little bit of substance. It can get flashy and get fun. There's like some genuine parts of this film again in the mansion where it feels like it's getting back to its horror roots, which is something a lot of the other films don't. But yeah, it's that's fine.
Look, I'm going to draw a clear line here between 5 and 4 for my ranking.
Right.
Because I think the next 4 that I'm going to talk about are all solid films.
Okay.
In my number 4 position, and I suspect this is where we will diverge, and I'm not even sure, like 1 was clear for me, 5 and 6 were clear for me. But
it gets a bit murky here.
It really does. 2, 3, and 4, I was umming and ahhing about. Hence why last night I watched number 3 as well, just to cement my decisions. I'm going to have to put the first Jurassic World movie in number 4. So right now I'm just going in reverse release order.
Okay.
Yeah, so 6 is 6, 5 is 5, 4 is 4.
Okay.
And I loved this when it came out. I probably would have, when I first saw this, gone, this is my favorite after the original. But going back and rewatching the original trilogy, I just like it more as a cohesive trilogy. I feel like it works as a whole. The 3 films together feel neater. And I think part of what has made this one not age as well is that the sequel films weren't as good. And similar to what you said
about Star Wars.
The sequel trilogy. Yeah. When you watch the other 2 and they don't work, it devalues the first film. Even if you like The Force Awakens.
That's true.
The other 2 take it down a notch.
Yep.
And so I really like this one, and perhaps upon a rewatch, I will bump it back up in the rankings. But I had to put it in 4 because I just like the others better. But this one has some really great moments. I love that they've got this idea of inventing a new dinosaur rather than them just saying, oh, here's a species we forgot to tell you about in the previous film.
We just went and made a new dinosaur? Probably not a good idea.
We're combining all of these elements that literally make this dinosaur this impossible creature, and this is how it can beat all of the systems in the park, because they need to come up with a clever new way for the park to fail. And I think this does a really good job of explaining that.
Yeah, it's kind of like what man's reach exceeding his grasp.
Exactly right. And the scene where it first escapes, that's awesome. And that feels like a real horror scene from the original film.
It's in the cage! It's in there with you!
Go!
With him kind of pouring the petrol on himself and just like trying to mask his scent while the other guy gets like taken out.
Yeah, that's
Badass.
and then the Indominus Rex like gets closer to Chris Pratt, blood and like stuff like still dripping out of his teeth. I was like, oh damn.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
But the other thing that's a real strength of this film, Jake Johnson. He's so good wearing his original Jurassic Park t-shirt. I mean, he's no Samuel
Where did you
Jackson.
get that?
He's not doing his cigarette acting like Samuel L. Jackson, but he's a really good comic relief. Like, the other comic relief is the banter between the two characters, and that's quite good. You got your classic charming bad boy Chris Pratt talking about the one date that they went on. And that's good. Like, that's fun. But Jake Johnson is just this goofy character that provides levity between these really horrific sequences.
Yep.
And I don't mind the fact that Bryce Dallas Howard is kind of like a bad character. She, like Hammond in the original, her motives aren't pure. She doesn't necessarily connect that well with the kids, and we see a change in her personality throughout. You said she's got a really good narrative arc between the 3 films. I think perhaps her character isn't super consistent, and that's because of time jumps between the films as well.
It can be a hard thing to track, yeah.
But I think that her progression throughout this film and how she really goes, oh man, I've screwed up, and then turns around into the caring aunt, I think that works really well.
That's good. Okay. So this is where we start to get a little bit different.
I suspected we might.
So in my number 4 spot, and this is kind of, again, so 2 through 4 are like where things really move around for me. In number 4, I have Jurassic Park 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? You're all over the shop. You have been dropping hints that number 3 was better than 2 all day. All day, mate.
Yeah.
Make up your mind.
Again, this is what I mean where 4 and 3 are like, I really, I don't know where to sit on it. I really don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
But Jurassic Park 3 sits in my 4th spot at the moment. Looking back on it, I think maybe I wanted a little bit more from a third Jurassic Park film. I'm not sure if I wanted them to go somewhere else. I was like, oh, go on another island and stuff like that. It's kind of like similar sort of beats and stuff. I do like the fact that this third film introduces some very different dinosaurs. We get like the Spinosaurus as more of like a primary antagonist for this film. Yes, you still get velociraptors.
Alan.
The pterodon scene when they're in that cage is sick.
Sure
I
is.
really enjoy that. I don't know, there's just parts of this film sometimes where it's not my favourite. There's side characters I do like. William H. Macy's like one of my favourite actors.
So good.
Who's the younger character who like plays the...
Billy?
Yeah, Billy. He's good in the film. Alessandro Nivola.
Yes.
Alessandro.
Don't call his name. Alessandro.
Also, I don't like how grey this film is and like the colouring of this film sometimes. It's like an ashy film. I don't know what it is.
No, it is. And it's the visual effects too. It's the same sort of thing we were talking about with Back to the Future when there's 2 of the same character in the scene.
Yep.
Looks a little washed out. So when they're layering the visual effects on it, something like... I genuinely don't know what it is about the process, but it washes out the colour.
No, there you go. Good to know. So that's part of the reason why I don't love it, but the plot is quite interesting. I'm happy to see Sam Neill back as well.
No force on earth or heaven could get me on that island.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy for one of the best parts of the Jurassic Park franchise, which is when he's waking up having a dream sequence. And
Alan.
Yeah, exactly. And that's incredible.
Nice.
So Jurassic Park 3 in my number 4 spot.
Now, my third position is a really, really tricky one for me. I just want to preface it by saying my next 2 are interchangeable. I could have easily swapped this order around, but I'm going to go with The Lost World.
Oh, me too.
Oh, great. So, The Lost World has a lot to love. You got Spielberg returning. Jeff Goldblum is also back as Ian Malcolm.
Maybe too much Goldblum.
You think too much Goldblum?
I think having Goldblum sort of lead the charge across the entire film is a bit much for me.
You reckon he works better as a secondary character?
As Alan Grant points out in Jurassic Park 3, he likes a bit of himself.
He does like a bit of himself, but I like a bit of him too, and he's got some cracker lines in this film.
Don't worry, Ian. I'm not making the same mistakes again.
No, you're making all new ones.
I'm not a big Julianne Moore fan. We know this about me.
Yes.
Julianne less, am I right? But I do really enjoy the inclusion of Vince Vaughn, and Richard Schiff is great as Eddie. Justice for Eddie, am I right? Comes in and saves the day in the
And just
caravan.
gets literally, you're tearing me apart, T-Rex, by two different T-Rexes.
Good. Very good. That sequence is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
The tension building there is really, really well done.
Mommy's very angry.
I also really love some of the new dinos, especially the Pachyocephalosaurus.
Oh.
Just yeeting people through trucks. You know the one that just keeps bashing in? It looks like a dinosaur with a receding hairline.
Yes, the big yeeter.
Hell yeah. The big yeeter, as they call it.
And the scene as well with the compies, very good stuff.
Ooh, yes.
There's some good moments in this film. Set piece
100%.
wise, there's some good stuff in there. And before Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom and Dominion could run with little T-Rex arms, they needed Lost World to crawl, and they had a T-Rex, well, not crawl, but walk around San Diego and wreak havoc.
Yeah, so look, the big thing that lets this film down is that it is too overstuffed. The whole San Diego sequence, it really bloats the runtime and feels very tacked on because it is. Like, Spielberg wanted to do this in another film and then realized, hang on a second, I don't want to make another film.
Let's get everything here.
100%. So he decided to use all the good ideas up before he handed over the torch.
Thanks, Stevie.
Yeah, love that. But you're right, there are some really good moments. I really like the horror type sequence of the raptors going through the field.
Yep, that's cool.
But they get a little bit slapsticky towards the end, being defeated with the power of gymnastics.
It defeats us all.
Yeah, it sure does.
The school cut you from the team?
And we also talked about when we did our full breakdown that there's just some lazy writing in this. The whole people getting attacked on the boat, there's no justification for how that's happened because the T-Rex is still locked up.
Death taxes in Jurassic Park films are having unexplained boat attacks.
Yeah. So it's certainly not a flawless film. That's probably why it's sitting here.
That's fair.
Yeah, why don't you jump in and talk about your number 2 spot?
Well, my number 2 spot is Jurassic World, the original. I was so hyped for this film, going to see it, and a lot of that is because we finally get basically the realization of what the franchise is based on. We get a fully functioning dinosaur park, and before things hit the fan, it's so cool seeing like all these people in basically dinosaur Disneyland. I forget a lot of the human characters in these films because
Tony Stark Jr.
Yeah, basically, and just like rips open the curtains and starts moving down the lane of like seeing everything.
It's rad,
and it's bright, it's colorful,
visually spectacular.
It looks really cool, and like I know it's going to go to absolute poop, but until then, like
why don't they know it?
Yeah, no, because you keep making new problems, whatever Malcolm says in Lost World. But the fact that we get like people like riding little dinosaurs,
that's pretty cool too.
The gyrosphere is like going through stuff, and I know although we get a Jimmy Fallon appearance, which I could do without, that's fine. Jimmy Fallon copping a drive-by on the 5th period, that's fine. Henry Wu's back and everything like that. So much of this film I just really enjoy. The Indominus Rex stuff, you talked about that sequence, I think is spectacular. Establishing this dinosaur as a really terrifying threat that knows stuff. It can camouflage, and they just get absolutely destroyed. I like the fact that it establishes the relationship between the raptors and Grady and gives it kind of a through line through the films that it's actually giving the dinosaurs a bit of personality, which is really good. Like, I like Blue.
That's something a bit different too, yeah.
Like, establishes them as much characters in this film as much as the other ones. The little subplot, like, of the, what Vincent D'Onofrio is trying to do. And you get, the pretty cool visual of Chris Pratt on a motorbike with the raptors running with him. That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And then, like, the big battle scene at the end with, like...
high heel running.
A lot of high heel running. Flares, and then the raptors come in, and then we get... you can't have a Jurassic film without Big Rexy. So the fact he comes in as like, you know what, I'm the OG bad guy of this franchise. Again, was full of hope after watching this first film in the trilogy.
Yeah, it gets dashed pretty quickly, hey.
But that first one, like, yeah, it is 100% my second favorite Jurassic film.
And totally valid. So usually we get a little heated because we're like, what the hell are you doing? But no, I fully respect your decision making thus far. And as I said, I'll probably go home and watch Jurassic World tonight, and it might jump through places. When I first saw it, I did have it in my number 2 position, but just rewatching the original trilogy, especially recently, last night rewatching 2 and 3, I had a real fondness for those characters.
Yep.
And you know me, like characters are always at the top of the list in terms of why I really connect with these films. So in my second place, I have Jurassic Park 3.
Cool.
And the reason I had Jurassic Park 2 in third place is the same reason I have Jurassic Park 3 in second place. And that's because it's neat. It's much, much tidier. Jurassic Park 2 is bloated, and this one trims all the fat.
It's pretty lean. And
it's the shortest Jurassic film. It's a tight 90. And I like these films with a condensed group that you get to know. So I don't like the armies of people that are getting taken out in every single sequence. I quite like having a small group where you're like, we're going to lose a few of these, and I care about anyone that goes.
Yep.
And they even double down on that by having a couple of henchmen get knocked off immediately in this film. So all of the ones that are left, you're like, actually, I do genuinely care about anyone who dies now.
Yep.
And so more contained plot, more contained group of characters, and some just killer set pieces. So I like the boat sequence, which is in the book, is originally in the first one.
Okay.
I love the birdcage. The reveal that they're in a birdcage and the pterodon just standing on the bridge.
Yeah,
it's so cool. Like the fog, it's just a real horror sequence, and it's really, really cool. I also like that Billy is a bit misguided, but he's not like super evil like in all the other ones. It's just like he has a moment of weakness.
Yeah, when he's trying to like, I might be able to get something out of this.
Yeah, and Sam Neill gives him a good scolding.
Some of the worst things imaginable have been done with the best intentions.
And then he's like, whoops, he almost died. He's not that bad. I do think Billy should have died. And I was talking to Maddie about it last night when we were watching it. And I'm like, Billy die? Billy die in the birdcage? Yeah, he definitely dies in the birdcage. And Maddie's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, no, he does. You're taking the piss. I ended up staying up late to watch it. She's gone to bed, and I'm like, Maddie, Billy's alive. He's at the end of the film. And she's like, yeah, I know. Shut up. Anyway, so pretty funny. But I really like this movie. William H. Macy. I was stoked that Grant and Sattler are back. Like, even if Sattler's like only in it for a second or two. Mm-hmm. But I like that they provide some clarity around the ambiguous relationship that they had in the first film.
Yep.
And they trick you into being like, oh, they're together. They've got a kid. No, they don't.
I mean, that's one of the positives, I guess, of Dominion, that there's sort of like...
Yeah, they're together in Dominion, aren't they?
They do. I think they get together in Dominion, so...
Hey.
I might rewatch it, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going to, but whether I'll enjoy it, I don't know.
Yeah.
But the last thing I will say about Jurassic Park 3, because I know there are a lot of people out there, yourself included, who are perplexed by the fact that I ranked it so highly. It's not that I'm blind to the flaws. In a franchise with plenty of annoying characters...
Oh, yeah.
Tia Leone is right up at the tippy top of that. Ah! Oh, your impression's getting good. But as much as I champion how lean this film is, it really could have done with a final showdown, because the beach rescue is anticlimactic as hell.
The big bad of the movie, the guy in a suit.
Yeah. But anyway, you know what that means, folks. In our number one position, and look, there was never going to be a question about this.
No, I basically put my number one in first. I was like, all right, let's do 6 through to 2, see what happens.
Yeah, just feel it out. Let's see what happens. But Jurassic Park 1 is classic in that sense of wonder.
Yep.
And you feel Spielberg's love of dinosaurs when you are watching this film. And you go on the emotional journey with all of the characters.
Yep.
The awe, the wonder, and then the terror as things all turn. It's so well done.
And this first film is probably one of my favorite films of all time. For a lot of people, it's borderline perfect film. As you sort of said, like it ticks a lot of genre elements really well. I feel like it combines like the action adventure and the horror. It's funny in spots when it needs to be.
That is one big pile of shit.
Got the kids in there as well, I think are really good.
God bless you!
Alexi and Tim. Shirtless Goldblum. You get
cigarette acting from Samuel L. Jackson.
Exactly. You get Newman, who's in there as well.
No.
Like all the character actors.
The
like
shaving cream's there.
Oh,
our favourite part of Dominion.
Of course. That's where it all began. There's just so much of this film that's just awesome. The way they ratchet up the terror, like the introduction of the T-Rex. There's a lot of scenes in this film I have taught in media classes since being a teacher because they are perfect examples of lots of different things. Like I really like to show the T-Rex scene as an example of storyboarding and then talking about suspense, the same as the kitchen.
Samuel L. Jackson is an example of bullying. Where's Nedry? Oh, probably at the vending machine.
Drag on the cigarette. Back to it. The kitchen scene with the raptors is really amazing. I love this film, like so much. The score is iconic.
T-Rex with the bandana.
The bandana. I just want a T-Rex wearing a bandana. And then T-Rex he's got a bandana and then puts on the sunglasses. Yeah!
I stand by it. I meant bandana.
Say it with your T-Rex chest and your little arms. Bandana! Do you remember watching this film when you were younger?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
What sort of grabbed you?
So the sequence that I remember the most is the first T-Rex sequence, the water. I love the contrast between Ian Malcolm and Grant. Them like kind of fighting over Allie.
Yeah.
Even though Allie's not really with either of them. Ian Malcolm questioning Grant about their relationship right before the T-Rex attacks. And then...
It's like, we've got other things to worry about here.
Yeah, but then they both have this kind of macho display of like, chase me, I've got the flare. And like, after Grant has already done it, Malcolm's like, now I'm going to do it again and get buried in this toilet while the old lawyer gets chomped away.
Yeah, just that is a pretty funny death scene as well.
It's pretty awesome. And then like them getting chased in the Jeep, and then objects may appear closer than they seem with the T-Rex. Like that sequence is the most memorable for me.
Yeah.
And being a kid and watching the two kids, watching Lex, watching Tim get attacked, and these adults are like helpless to do anything about it.
Yeah,
it's just rad.
Yep.
Very
Like
cool.
really ratchets up the stakes, I think. It feels, this film sometimes what the other Jurassic Park films don't do as well. It makes everything seem really dramatic and it feels like the stakes are so high. I feel like the dinosaurs are at their most dangerous here, and a lot of that's got to do with the animatronics, which are absolutely brilliant in this film.
Yep.
Just like super iconic to sort of bring these creatures to life. The dinosaurs are there and they feel dangerous. That the other films just can't always get across due to the fact that like they're not using as many animatronics.
Yeah.
Sometimes at all. The raptors feel really terrifying in this film that I think.
Girl.
Yeah. Muldoon's just like bang. See ya. That was actually something I forgot to talk about in Lost World. The raptors don't feel nearly as dangerous after that initial like long grass scene. They're almost like comical. Like, hey, we're just like sort of bouncing around. We have velociraptors and stuff. They just don't feel super dangerous, but they feel dangerous in this film. And again,
Oh yeah.
so
Sure. Well, I mean, look at what they do to Sam Jackson.
enough said. What else is there to be said?
They destroy him. He's nothing but an arm left.
Exactly.
You know, he's come out to say that he still thinks his character's alive, just running around on the island.
Okay, we get it. You want to be in another Jurassic Park film. I don't think they're going to make another
He's
one.
probably just living in isolation with Mace Windu, also armless.
Sometimes I think Mace Windu's still alive. One day.
We all do.
We all do.
And the Macaulay Culkin meme. We all do.
We all do. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it was ever going to be a shock or a surprise that the OG would take our number one spot. But, good to talk about why it's, such a good film, objectively, but also like this is a film we both really enjoy. So.
And nice to be able to end the pod on a high note too.
Yeah.
After all that talk of Venom. Yuck! Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And don't forget, if you want to check out full detailed breakdowns of the original trilogy, you can find them on the channel. Otherwise, if you're after more rival rankings, I've got a completely separate playlist for that I've been periodically adding things to.
So as always, please make sure to share the video around, like and subscribe, and also comment below. Which out of our rankings did you properly align with? Were you more of a Jurassic or a Cretaceous guy? Did you prefer the new trilogy with Chris Pratt at the helm, or preferred old Alan Grant here back in the saddle? Let us know.
Or you could even comment letting us know what you think of the new Jurassic World Rebirth. Just when you think the series is extinct, life finds a way.
Yeah, good.
Thanks very much, guys, and catch you on the next pod.